The movie begins with Tommy returning to visit his estranged father, Paddy, after a 14-year absence. Tommy, now a grown man, appears to be single and without a family. He confides in Paddy, admitting that it's hard to find a woman willing to marry a boxer. Paddy, now a recovering alcoholic, offers him coffee, but Tommy declines, knowing his father has been sober for nearly 1,000 days. Paddy, once a source of shame for Tommy, is now trying to be a better man, and Tommy is remorseful about how he treated his mother in the past. Meanwhile, Brendan, Tommy's brother, is busy playing the role of a princess at his daughter's birthday party. His wife, Tess, is frustrated by the party's expenses and the growing financial strain. After the party, she heads to her job at a bar, asking Brendan to stay home with their daughters. At Colt's gym, a self-defense tournament called Sparta is being promoted, offering a grand prize of $5 million to the winner. Tommy walks into the gym to pay his monthly membership fee and notices a flashy advertisement for the tournament. While he trains, Tommy witnesses a fierce fighter mocking and humiliating others. Colt, the gym owner, offers $200 to anyone who can defeat this fighter. Tommy, feeling a sense of pride and purpose, volunteers to fight, but is initially refused by Colt. However, when the fighter mocks him, Tommy insists and signs a waiver to take full responsibility for the fight. After an intense battle, Tommy emerges victorious, impressing everyone in the gym, and collects his $200 prize. Brendan, on the other hand, is a physics teacher at a local school. He teaches his students about Newton's laws of motion in an engaging and fun way, earning their respect and admiration. Later, he meets with a financial advisor who tells him that he's behind on his mortgage payments. Brendan had mortgaged his house to cover the medical costs for his daughter's heart surgery, and now the bank is demanding repayment. The advisor suggests that Brendan file for bankruptcy, but Brendan, feeling desperate, refuses to give up his house. Elsewhere, Paddy watches old footage of Tommy competing in wrestling matches, where he once won 7 gold medals under Paddy's coaching. Colt visits Paddy, seeking information about Tommy's past as a fighter, but Paddy is reluctant to share anything. He prefers to leave the past behind and focus on the present. Brendan, struggling to make ends meet, tells Tess that he's taking a night shift as a club bouncer to earn some extra cash. However, he secretly enters an underground fight club and defeats his first opponent, Mike. The organizers inform him that in order to win the prize money, he must win 2 more fights. The next morning, Tess notices the bruises on Brendan's body. He confesses that he fought, breaking his promise not to do so, but he had no other option to pay off their debts. Tess is furious and pleads with him not to fight again. Tommy, realizing that he needs to train harder, approaches Paddy at a diner and asks him to coach him once again. Paddy agrees to help, though he remains hesitant about getting involved in Tommy's life again. Meanwhile, Brendan returns to his school, where the students gossip about his underground fight. His supervisor calls him into the office, demanding an explanation. Brendan admits that he fights for money, and the supervisor warns him not to engage in such activities again if he wants to keep his job. Brendan, feeling the weight of his family's financial problems, visits Frank, an old friend and former trainer, asking him to train him for the upcoming Sparta tournament. Frank is hesitant, believing that Brendan doesn't have the skill or experience to defeat top-tier fighters. Brendan insists that he has no choice and that Tess is aware of his decision. Frank agrees to train him, but warns that his time is limited, as he is also training Marco for the tournament. Paddy visits Brendan, proudly announcing that he has reached 1,000 days of sobriety. He wants to celebrate this milestone with Brendan, but Brendan refuses. On his way out, Paddy mentions that Tommy is back at the house and they've been training together. Brendan is hurt and angry that Tommy didn't tell him. He feels betrayed and abandoned by his brother. As the Sparta tournament draws near, Tommy and Brendan begin their intense training. The media buzz grows, with the tournament drawing attention from around the world. One of the top contenders is a Russian fighter named Koba, who has never lost a fight. Tess watches TV coverage of Brendan's previous fight, where he defeated Marco, who later has an accident and is hospitalized. Marco can no longer compete in the tournament, so Brendan asks Frank to let him take Marco's place. Frank hesitates, but agrees the next day. Tess is furious when Brendan tells her about his decision to fight in the tournament. She fears that he might get seriously injured, but Brendan tells her this is their only chance to secure their financial future. He pleads for her support, but Tess refuses, fearing for his safety. The Sparta tournament begins, and the intensity ramps up. Tommy and Brendan avoid each other, with Tommy trying to stay focused on his own journey. News breaks that Tommy was a combat soldier in Iraq, and a fellow soldier recognizes him during the tournament and thanks him for saving his life. Tommy is unsettled by the recognition. Outside, Brendan offers him coffee, but Tommy refuses. He harbors deep resentment toward Brendan for choosing a family over their mother, and he feels abandoned by him. The tournament stadium is packed with spectators, and Tommy quickly becomes a fan favorite. He is hailed as a war hero, but no one knows his true identity. He skips interviews, avoids photos, and refuses to have entrance music, yet the crowd adores him. Tommy wins his first match with ease, solidifying his reputation. Brendan enters the ring next. The commentators doubt his chances, but Brendan fights back fiercely, losing the first round but managing to make a dramatic comeback and secure a win. He texts Tess, who is anxiously waiting for news. Tess refuses to watch the fight, unable to bear the tension. Koba defeats his opponent with ease. Brendan faces his next challenger and secures another victory. Meanwhile, Tommy continues to dominate his opponents, finishing them off in mere seconds. The tournament heads into the final stages, with Tommy and Brendan both in the final four. That night, Tommy can't sleep, and Patty visits him, offering words of encouragement. However, Tommy responds coldly, telling Patty that he was a better father when he was drunk. Patty is devastated by Tommy's harsh words and relapses into old habits. The next day, Tommy, feeling guilty, hugs his father, and they begin to reconnect. In the semifinals, Tommy faces the fighter he previously humiliated in Colt's gym. The fighter seeks revenge, but Tommy defeats him again, quickly and decisively. Brendan's turn to face Koba arrives. With little chance of victory, Tess attends the fight to support him. Brendan takes heavy damage and loses the first 2 rounds, but Frank offers words of encouragement, reminding him that this is his last chance. With newfound determination, Brendan digs deep and manages to defeat Koba, making a stunning comeback. As the final match approaches, Tommy and Brendan will face each other. The news spreads that Tommy has left the military and will be arrested after the tournament. Tommy had planned to give the prize money to his fallen friend's wife if he won. His true identity is revealed, and it's disclosed that Tommy and Brendan are brothers. The revelation shocks everyone. The final fight begins. Tommy dominates the first 2 rounds with his sheer strength and power. Brendan manages to survive and pushes through the final round, using his intelligence and strategy to hold his ground. In the last round, Brendan locks in a chokehold and, while strangling Tommy, asks him to forgive him, expressing his love for him. Tommy, overwhelmed with emotion, finally taps out. Brendan wins the Sparta tournament and claims the $5 million prize. Despite their years of rivalry and tension, Brendan helps Tommy to his feet and embraces him, demonstrating that through the struggles of the tournament, their bond as brothers has been restored. The movie ends with the 2 brothers walking off together, their relationship healed, and their family reunited through the challenges they overcame. Thank you for watching.